Hi, and welcome to another bite-sized bat rep, bringing you great battle reports without taking up a great deal of your time. Today, we'll be looking at an introductory tutorial game of the excellent 17th century historical wargaming system By Fire and Sword from Wargamer. I have just purchased the Kingdom of Sweden starter set, and I was fortunate enough to get a chance to play with a loner army provided by my friend at the store. This will be a small skirmish, perfect for getting my head around the rules. Both armies were small, basic skirmish forces. I used the Swedish skirmish set with an extra blister. Since this was a mirror match, the Orange Swedes will from now on be known as the Danish mercenaries to help with the battle narrative. Now, the important difference between the two forces is that the Danes have a smaller, more veteran army, which has a 1 force point advantage. This allows me to roll on the effects table to even out the points, and for 1 point, I was lucky enough to delay one of the veteran Danish armored riders. Now we are even. Allowing battles between two non-equal force point sides is one of the super cool features of this system. So the setup is that in the 1650s, somewhere in northern Poland, two skirmish forces were sent out on a patrol and tasked with scouting out 3 points of interest around a homestead with a light forest and a hill nearby. The Swedes deployed with a heavy left flank, dragoons in the middle, and a single company of veteran reiters on the right flank. Oh, and the infantry in the bottom right corner represents the dismounted dragoons, so it's not in play yet. My plan is simple. On the right, the veterans will sweep up the hill and join the main force, which will advance, form a line, and hold the enemy at bay, while the light gun provides covering fire. The Danish mercenaries deploy as follows. And of course, one of their elite armored raider companies starts off the map. Perhaps it's stuck in the mud somewhere, or it just didn't want to ask for directions. We'll see if their delay has any impact on the game. The Swedish colonel surveys the field before the chaos of war begins. The trumpets sound. The enemy has been spotted. Turn 1. The Swedes advance. Dragoons dismount and get ready to defend the forest. The cannon looks across the meadow, searching for targets. The Danes advance, and the Swedish cannon fires on the armored raiters, scoring ahead. On the right side, the hill is scouted by the Danes, while the Swedes get ready to drive them off. The Swedish commander urges his dragoons to capture and defend the forest. Turn 2. The Swedes keep the initiative and advance their center and right flanks, while on the left, the overzealous reiters charge the Danes. This proves to be a critical miscalculation. The Swedish colonel looks on as his dragoons overcommit and expose their flank. The Danes set the trap, and in their move, spring it. Armored raiters have plenty of time to withdraw from the Swedes, while the center Danish bloc sets up a caracole. The Swedes are sitting ducks, taking fire from their flank while their charge falters. On the right flank, the dismounted Danish dragoons exchange fire with the Swedes, who score a hit. The Swedish charge fails, and the inexperienced raiters become disorganized. The Swedish colonel shows his inexperience as well and compounds the error by positioning himself so that he's out of command range to both flanks. He is unable to command and support either raiter unit. Helplessly watching as the left flank falls apart. On the right, the Danish dragoons realize they are peril, caught in the open ground with the Swedes within charge distance. With visible glee, the Danish commander gives the order to charge. The Danes seize the initiative and slam into the front and flank of the Swedes. On the right flank, the Danish dragoons attempt to pull back from the Swedish cavalry, but they're just not fast enough on foot. And the Swedish raiders easily catch them with their charge down the hill. In the center, the Swedish dragoons form a firing line in the woods, desperate to support their own cavalry. The Danes fire their pistols in the charge, destroy a base of the Swedes, and force a panic test. And they break them. The armored Danes give chase, but are not fast enough to catch the Swedes. The Swedish left flank has collapsed. On the right side, the Danish dragoons didn't stand a chance, as the Swedes destroy a base and rout them off the table, destroying them. The right flank belongs to the Swedes, but will they be able to use this fact to save their main force? Turn 4. It is now the Swedes' turn to be sneaky and set a trap. The raiders rally and pull away from the Danes, recreating their battle line. The fate of the cannon seems to be sealed, staring at a company of elite Danish raiders ready to charge. One more desperate cannon shot, but no effect. The The Swedish colonel looks on, and he has a plan. The Danish raiders charge, but the Swedish colonel is able to pull them away from the cannon and then fall back, as commanders behave like light cavalry. At the same time, the main Danish raider force charges the dragoons in the woods. Now it's important to note that this is a demo game, and so my opponent wanted to show me what happens when cavalry charges infantry defending difficult terrain. I'm sure he would not make this reckless a move in a real competitive game. With the Danes sitting in the open, the cannon shoots a canister shot into the flank of the armored raiders, scoring a hit and forcing a panic test. In the center, the dragoons fire a full shot into the charging raiders, kill a base, and also force a panic test. Both charges are broken, and furthermore, the armored raiders break and flee. Suddenly, the left flank is secured and the game swings back in the Swedish favor. There is still hope. Turn 5. The delayed Danish company finally shows up, and it will still play a major role. Quick look at the left flank. The Swedish raiders seem not to have learned their lesson, and they charge again, and again they are too far to catch their foes. While the Swedish colonel moves in to scout the homestead. On the right side, the Swedes, lacking orders, only withdraw towards their lines, while the Danish armored raiders advance unopposed into the middle objective. In their remaining moves, the Danes withdraw on the left flank, redressing their lines and rallying their forces. The Swedish charging raiders fail their charge and again become disorganized. Turn 6, the final turn. The Swedes consolidate their lines by moving the commander to the center and falling back with the raiders on the right side. Danes reform their lines, and the newly arrived raiders scout the center objective, with the Swedes unable to stop them. The final shot of the game. Swedish forces form a line down the middle of the table, and the Danes reform into a solid front on their side of the table. The two patrols, having achieved their objectives, decide to withdraw. One more look at the field. And here's what the final tally looks like. Both sides managed to achieve the objectives by scouting all 3 points, earning 6 victory points each. Swedes lost 1 base, which translates to light losses and 3 victory points. The Danes lost 3 bases, which translates to acceptable losses, worth 1 victory point. The Swedish total is 9 versus the Danish 7 points, which is a tactical victory for the Swedes. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this battle report. If you would like to know more about the By Fire and Sword game system, check out their website and watch this channel for more battles. See you next time on Bite-Sized Bat Reps.